let's play some games, huh? We're gonna play some red-yellow sacrifice mid-range is a deck I've been working on. They've got Mythgard has a Worlds tournament at the end of the year, and they're gonna be having open qualifiers using their in-client tournament mode. And I'm planning to play in their first open qualifier on the 20th. This is one of the 3 decks I'm planning to bring for their Conquest format. Or play with yourself on another device. That's technically a thing. So, Mythgard has 6 colors in it, and Mythgard's deck building is it is the only digital card game I've ever played that comes close to Magic in terms of the depth that the deck building offers. So there's no resources in this game, but you can turn any card into your hand into a resource at any point. So this card, I'm going to go ahead and drag it down here and burn it, and I will gain 1 red gem and 1 total resource. I don't have any 1 mana plays here, unfortunately, so I'm just going to pass back. My opponent is playing an aggro deck, and the Thunderbird egg is very scary. It's going to turn into a 4/3 here in a hot second. Okay, so my 7-drop, when you burn a card, it's not destroyed. It goes back into your deck and you can redraw it later. So burning your more expensive cards early tends to make a lot of sense. I'm going to go ahead and drop my venomfang mutant. So you can see the board plays out here on a 7x7 grid. And what the grid does is it means things that your opponent has have to attack into the blockers that you put in front of them. So in this instance, these 2 things can't attack my life total directly. They have to attack these things that would be in these lanes in front of them. So there's a positional element similar to chess, but you're playing with cards. Yeah, I feel like the Thunderbird egg is one of the more pushed cards in this aggro deck, and I wouldn't be surprised if that one sees a balance adjustment at some point. So this killed my thing, but this is blighted, which means at the start of every turn now moving forward, this is going to get smaller. UI is actually a pretty decent draw. This says cannot take more than 2 damage inside of combat. So if I play this out here, it's going to absorb hits from both of these for the turn, which is nice. That being said, in terms of being resource efficient, I probably don't want to play this turn. I'll have to take a hit over here. My deck's got some life gain in it for later, so hopefully that's going to be okay. I'm going to burn this yellow card, and I'm going to drop the Serpent's Den over here. The Serpent's Den is what's called an enchantment. An enchantment occupies a certain lane, and then gives you an effect in that lane. In this case, it makes a 1/1 snake when you play it, and then every turn, if it's empty, it makes another snake. So it basically gives you some endless snakes. We're actually going to take 1 less over here because this is getting smaller. This thing gives something 1 extra toughness permanently, so they can kind of keep this alive with this through the blight. But that means they're not using this on other things. Yeah, so like they have to trade this over here. So this is a 3/4. You may give another minion, can't take 2 damage, more than 2 damage in combat. So, sure. And we're going to take 4 here. We're going to power that up. Okay, so give a minion on Sundown or Demise, affect adjacent minions with the Yana virus. So this, I think we're going to put this here. And then I'll burn this and drop this here. So this is going to get smaller on the start of their turn and die. And then it infects these 2, so these are now blighted. So now all of these have the nasty blight, which gives them -1/-1 every turn. So starting to stabilize here a little bit. We killed their Thunderbird. We're still at 17. We're going to take 3, maybe 4 or 5 here, down to 12 or so. If we can find some of our ways to gain life, we'll be in a pretty good spot. Yep, down to 12. This card says This card says, oh, the Yana virus spread because they put it next to it here. Small mistake on my opponent's part here for sure. I'm going to burn the sunken acolyte. I'm going to move my snake over so we can get this opened up for next turn. So all of these are going to get 1/1 smaller next turn. I think I'm just going to go ahead and play brinebound believer here and then give this +2/+2 with its empower ability. So this is going to die and all of these are going to get smaller. Insta-beast, they gave it +4/+4, sure. These things are still getting smaller every turn. Yeah, I think I'm going to burn this. This has life tap. It is a 7/4. This is a really incredible threat if we can live to get it out. So I think I'm going to go ahead and put both of these down over here. And then we'll click this. You can get one of the paths or powers from the expansion for free. If you ask in their Discord, they'll tell you what the codes are. I forget what the code is offhand. But there's a code that gives you one of the two for free. And then you unlock the others just from playing. Oh, I gotta click end turn. So these both get smaller. I put both of these blockers over here in front of this because if they had some kind of rush minion, I didn't want them to be able to like kill my only blocker and then hit me for 6. It is gonna let this hit me for 4 though. Maybe that's loose.
Do I make you sick?
She does actually make us sick, chat. Let's give something blight like we've been blighting their stuff. Okay, so we can slide this over, and I guess now I have to decide, do I want a Striga or not? Because this could give her blight. I could just Yarna virus here, but the problem is if I don't give this a target to blight, they can give something 3 attack, which is really scary. So I think I just need to give my Striga up. And then this can sacrifice a unit to get invulnerable. So it can still get blighted and shrunk by that, but won't die to other destroy or immortal. Sorry, not invulnerable. Won't die to destroy effects. As long as if we can get in a hit with this, we're going to be able to recover enough life to be in an okay spot. I guess we might die here because I killed the blocker. Because of this. This is 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I guess if they have another rush minion here, I'm dead, right? Yeah, this was wrong. I should have left this exposed. We're down to 3 now. I should have left the snake here to block this lane. Or perhaps maybe I should have put this here to block this if I was going to sack the snake. Who do they not have burn to kill me? If they don't have burn to kill me, I get to kill this for... Yeah, wow, okay. Wow, that's huge. Okay, so this gets to kill... So this is dying. Yeah, I think I just eat the snake here. Make this invulnerable. And then this gives everything blight 3, so it's going to kill both of these, and then I can heal. And then we're on empty sands. This is going to die over 2 turns, but like their whole board is dying here. This is going to die over 2 turns. Hopefully it's going to get to hit for 4 and gain us 4 more life before that happens. It's a really powerful one. Ooh, so is that. Give a minion Slayer 3. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and attack for 4 and gain 4. And then I'm going to put this here. And this says, whenever another serpent is created or destroyed, this gets +2/+2. So I'm going to go ahead and have this sack the serpent here because it makes this bigger. And this will make another serpent next turn. Our deck's basically a Serpent's Den combo deck. We've got this as well as this that gets supercharged with the serpent. Yeah, this card can sacrifice something to give itself immortal every turn. So it was unfortunate they had to misanthropia to clear the board. That's going to lose me this, but I think I was definitely right. Oh, they get to trade these here anyways. That's fine though. Oh wait, what?
What hark?
Oh, this gives -2/-2 at the start of every turn too. Yeah, sweet. I think we've stabilized at this point. And this is, again, more like a serpent's deck. This gives all our other serpents deadly. Whenever a serpent dies, this gets +1/+1. And Harvester gains its 4. Yeah, this game's definitely over. I can't believe we beat turn 1 Thunder Egg on the draw. That's, like, really wild. I think that's probably the first time I've beaten Thunder Egg on the draw. That's definitely one of the aggro decks better starts. Our tools were quite good here. The yana virus was really excellent on the turn that we had it. Okay, so this trades here, and then this bumps here, which powers this back up, and it powers this up. It does, yeah, and it should be loaded. So if you don't see the overlay for the extension, refresh your Twitch stream if you were here for Magic, and you'll be able to mouse over cards on board and in my hand. Gain 25 life in player matches. Yeah, we're gonna cover that one today. I don't think it unfortunately works on mobile. I haven't used it before on mobile. Yeah, you can click on the Boneyard and see what's in it. It should highlight all the keywords for you at home as well. I think part of it is me explaining things right, Perk, but I also think Mythgard does a really good a job of being pretty intuitive in terms of how the rules work. And obviously, like, what people view as intuitive or not can be a bit subjective, but in general, I think Mythgard rules are pretty straightforward. Some key differences from a lot of other games, but they borrow a lot of good things from a lot of good places, which is great. Okay, so I have Brinebound Believer. We can just do that on 2 and try and get them that way. That's probably a good, decent place to be. I'm gonna hold on to the Ignition because I might want to like Yarna plus Ignition. Next turn to keep this alive. This card uses the energy mechanic. So it comes into play with 2 points of energy, and then every turn it ticks down, and when it hits 0, it transforms into something scarier. But this survives for 2 turns, it kind of goes Super Saiyan. And if you're interested in Mythgard hanging out from the Magic section of my stream, they're actually running a promo right now where they're going to be giving away the entirety of their core set for free. There's 6 colors in the game, and we have 4 out of 6 codes to get 4 colors for free. We'll be getting the other 2 this week. So if you want to check out the game and not spend any dollar dues and have lots of cards to brew and play with, it's a great way to do that. So I think I'm just going to kill both of their things here. And then if they don't have something with Rush, they won't be able to hit this next turn. I think I do that. I think I'm going to burn the yahui, I think. I'll play Yana Virus on here, which means this will die at the start of the turn, so it's plated. So if they can't take this off the table here, I guess they have the coin here from their thing, so they could thunderclap me this turn. One of the things that's great about Mythgard that I love too is they have a play draw balance. When you build your deck, you have this path that you pick from, and the path gives you a pursuit bonus that is a bonus that you only get when you're going second, and the pursuit that you get is different based on what path you have. So like this one gives me an extra energy towards the energy mechanic that this path has. My opponent's path gives them a leprechaun coin that's basically similar to Hearthstone's extra mana coin that going second goes. So you get to kind of pick what kind of bonus you want your deck to have when you have on the draw as a deck building choice, as opposed to just having it dictated to you. I can see that being okay, something squared. That's not something that I had tried. That's potentially worth testing. Okay, yep. And you're able to bounce my thing here, which is pretty good. I think we're just redeploying brinebound. In addition to your path being something you choose during deck building, you also have a power that activates for 2 to 3 mana, and mine heals me for 1 and my units for 2. So I'll just spend my other 2 resources doing that for the turn. And the clap as well here, sure. Kind of waiting on one of my cards that draws me a bunch of cards at this point. I've got 1 Revelation as well as some copies of Ichor Feast here. I need to burn 1 more red card before we can Ichor Feast those, worth noting.
Let's do this.
Would I rather get another Serpentine going, or would I rather play Scourge of Serpents? I think I want a Scourge. I guess these all have 3 toughness, so maybe that's not true. I don't really want to burn Sapo, and you can only burn each card once, so I burned this earlier, so I can't burn it again. So I think I'm going to play Serpentine here. I'm going to heal for 1. I'm going to choose not to burn anything this turn. My deck is a mid-range deck, so it does want to burn cards, burn more cards than, burn up to like 10 or so a lot of the time, but I don't have anything good to burn in the short term at least. They might deploy something else to the board this turn, which will let me potentially get more Vipers too if they like go 4 or 5 wide here.
Yes.
That's pretty punishing. So we're gonna take a big hit here now. I guess if I would have done this, we would have gotten hit by that anyways. Down to 9 now. Alright, so we're hoping to dodge. They're through. They've played Thunderclap. They've played a Thunderclap and they've played a Magnus. They have 1 clap left. One thing I haven't explained yet today, that's another thing that I really enjoy about Mythgard, is how their deck building restrictions work. So you'll notice each card has dots in the upper right-hand corner of the card that indicates not only the rarity of the card based on the color, but the number of dots is how many copies of that card you can play in your deck based on the rarity. So, common cards you can play 4 copies of, uncommon cards you can play 3 copies of, rare cards you can play 2 of, and mythics you can play 1 copy of. It's also, that feature is also great when you're getting into the game for the first time, because it means that if you need to budget a deck for whatever reason, you're short a card, your deck's not that much worse than it otherwise would be, because you're only budgeting a single card, which is great. Kind of regretting burning my misanthropia earlier. That might have been a mistake. I assume these are going to crunch into my 2/2s here. I think we're going to end up being a little slow this game. I think I undervalued my misanthropia. I wasn't quite familiar with what my opponent was playing. I should have put more value on it.
Oil. Yeah.
I assume these are eating these. Oh, really? It's an interesting decision. Wow, that's super unlucky. So, this is a card I've already burned, so I can't burn it again. So there's not resource variance in this game in terms of the number of resources you draw, but there is some variance in terms of the colors of cards that you draw, and there is variance in terms of redrawing burned cards again. We're going to take 2 from this down to 4. Good chance the opponent kills us here. This gives things that get accrued next to it rush. Killing my snake on the snake den protects the overrun unit from sapo. Oh, that's a good thought. Yeah, that's true, because this gets recreated with summoning sickness.
Let's do this.
Yep, exactly lethal on the last 2 cards. And exactly enough mana here too with the 1/1 underneath it. Really close game. I think I probably win this game pretty easily if I know what deck they're playing, which I'm still learning my way around Mythgard, so I'm actually expecting to do a little bit better in the tournament coming up than I do on the ladder, because people won't be able to juke me out like this because I don't know what the matchup's supposed to play like. So, like, the tournament's going to be open deckless, so, like, I'll be able to look at their deck and know, hey, I should prioritize Misanthropia here because they're a blue aggressive deck, as opposed to just not having a clue. I think we burn... Strogi's, like, really good in our deck, but I'm definitely going to burn the expensive red card. By the time we get to 7, we'll draw back into it, hopefully. You have to keep Misanthropia in every early hand now. I don't think that's true. I think there's plenty of decks where Misanthropia is, like, not the end-all be-all. Alright, so... How do we feel about slide to the right, Yana Virus here, to clear through these? I could also slide plus play Believer over here. That's probably better, actually, getting Believer going. And I slid this over because I don't want this to kill it. I don't really want to trade it for this.
Technically, I'm a tortoise.
This is a really good answer to this. I guess I just virus plus ignition over here, huh? And try and get this guild going. I think that's the play.
I'm a mutant.
We're down on cards here. They'd need either need to burn a card from a second color, or would need the yellow destroy a creature its controller draws a card. Okay, they have an ignition here. Oh, they're gonna suppress it for a turn, sure. I'd love to draw a red card I could burn here. Perfect. So we'll do this. We'll drop Oak over here. We'll continue sliding to the right. We'll hit you again. They can't, this takes 2 energy to activate, so they can't suppress anything again here. So they need to have some other answer to this to stop it from evolving. If this pops up into a 4/4, it helps make up from some of the card disadvantage that we've had going on. That's very good. Okay, so this is going to evolve at least.
Oh, I found you.
So this has Agile, which means it attacks past our blockers, which is rough. This card's very good against us because we're very unlucky. think I burn this and like play brinebound believer and then also just like plus it up right away. I think I just do it. If I do it here, they could suppress this and then hit it. But then if they're hitting this, they're using that, and then they're not hitting my face with this, which seems like a win for me. Okay, I can go either way on this. It might be right to put this down over here to try and get it going, as opposed to leaving them the ability to kill it. So this can suppress something, which will take the bonus 2/2 off of it. Yeah, which means they can then hit this with the 2/3. But them hitting this with the 2/3 means they're not hitting me with it, which means they don't get to draw a card off of my deck. This is going to save them some points of life, but it's going to let my thing kill another thing, which means we're going to get to draw an extra card off of Coliseum, which is nice. See what they have for their 5 mana for the turn. If we draw a removal spell for this, we're going to be in a pretty good spot. If we brick on it, we could be a little bit scared. This actually isn't terrible for us because this means that I can attack this in here if I wanted and trade it off. This is going to kill my thing anyways. I think I just give them this hit for free to try and find a piece of removal for their 2/1 here. Wow, that's really unlucky. Effectively buy into Arena. It's literally just buy booster packs. Just load them up. Depending on what format you want to play, dictates which packs you want to buy. If you want to play, if you're buying packs with the intention of getting into historic, you want to buy packs that have shock lands in them. If you're buying packs with the intention of getting into standard, buy packs that have pathways in them. Hey, Randy for Snook, thanks for the 4 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. So this is going to get to copy a card off our deck, which is a little sad. We get to draw an extra card here, though, which is nice. This is 1 turn away from popping up here again, which is nice. It's going to turn into an 8/7, which is nice and scary.
I'll take that.
See if we can dodge them getting a Crimson Pact or something like that off of our deck. God bless America. Why do I open my mouth and let these words come out, chat? Why do I do it? Packs are we playing? We're on 2 packs only. Oh, they have Ichor Feast here too. Gross. We really need an Ichor Feast of our own at this point. So I'll wipe the bonuses off of this, which is nice. Insta-Beast. Wow. Okay, so that was not a card I was playing around out of their more mid-rangey deck. It's really good with Duskwing Angel, and the fact that they killed my harpy-one feels real bad because this is the way we could have reset that. So maybe I should have maybe I should have deployed this over down this way to play around that. And again, like, that's one of those things where, like, we're playing this in the heads-up decklist tournament setting. I'm not getting got by Insta-Beast there. I know it's a card there. I'm playing around it. I'm putting harpy-one down over here, and I'm not going to get got by that. But in this setting, that's not an option. Random ladder matches, all that jazz. A very small window to draw something to answer this. I don't have a lot of great answers. I have Crimson Pact, which makes me take a lot of damage to do it. Probably gonna die to this because of my unit positioning. We hit, what's it called? I have the extract life plus the suppress here too. Yeah. Misanthropia would mean... Okay, well, I mean, these bump into each other here. This gains me 7 back. So we take 8 down to 7. They bump here. We go to back up to 14. And then if we hit Misanthropia, this dies and this no longer kills me. So we've got 2 outs then. And because Misanthropia costs 5 and I'm on 7 mana, Ichor Feast into Misanthropia is an out here as well. Yeah, so I can kill one of these, but then we die to the other one. And needed to dodge, needed to either position what's his name, harpy-one in a better spot, or be able to dodge the Crimson Pact the one time they hit our deck with their 2/3. And we talked about that. That's something that translates from Magic well too, is open deckless tournament make mid-range decks better on average in tournament settings. Much more so than decks that are aggressively slanted, knowing how to properly sequence your answers around what your opponent's doing, because the deck lists are heads up is huge. But it has the infuse power here, which usually means they're a little bit aggressively slanted. Also, some mid-range decks play that as well, though, so doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Fight on.
This card's pretty annoying. Makes your other rebels bigger when it dies. I forgot when I'm on the draw, this makes my first unit bigger. Maybe that changes my play. Maybe that means I'm supposed to, like, corrode equipment here and then play this on turn 2 as a 3/3. You see that being the case? Alright, it's just a 2/2 deal. The same path we do, right? So whenever our things trade, we both get an energy. Serpentine is a good synergy with our serpentine empress here. This bumps out 1/1s and this makes them deadly. And when the 1/1s die, this gets bigger. Okay, so they have this, which means even if I give this +2/+2, it's still gonna die next turn. That being said, I think it's probably still correct to do that because that requires them to use their power for the turn. And that way they can't just eat this for free. So I assume we'll see, like, infuse here, crunch into here. Taking a little bit of hits from this, which is a little scary. I have Harvester to buffer back up, though, with, which is nice. These two trade means that we're going to get to draw an extra card next turn, which would be nice. Why did they activate this? Are they not killing this? Are they letting this level up? That's gotta be wrong, right? Huh. So they've got Tiger Hooks with God of Gamers here. So this is going to get -2 attack and fragile if they what's it called? So they'll get -2 attack and fragile if it attacks. That being said, I think that's right. They'll leave this on once. I think there's a good chance they're going to hook it and kill it next turn anyways. I think we do that. And I think, actually, we go Serpent's Den here, Sunken Acolyte here, and then they can't hook this down over this way because these lane spots are full. They can still hook it if they kill the snake and hook it with the 3/2. Sure. Yeah, that's true. But then they put the tiger hooks on the 3/2, which is a net positive for us, right? Or I suppose they could hook here and then hook here and drag over, but then I get to play Serpentine Empress. Which would be great. Would let me kill the God of Gamers with the deadly on the backswing. I think this is about to be real good here. Working our way up towards the Strigoi as well. It's aggressive.
Fight on.
Oh. Well, that's perfect, right? I think we just trade these here, so I get the point on my thing, and then we misanthropia. Who do I want left over? Honestly, it's probably just burning this, because I need a second red anyways, right? The rest of these yellow cards are good. This might be a little aggressive. I don't know. Getting rid of this has value. Snake Sin's giving them path triggers. Oh, that's true. That's true. It is feeding this, technically. This card making more moon blades is real good. So I think we definitely just drop this over here, because if I play either of these smaller things out, they'll just tiger hooks and hook them over and kill them. Perhaps I should have burned this card because they're on the hooks plan. They have a lot of reasonably statted units. This just dies to the hooks a lot of the time. Maybe keep the Strigoi to bank on drawing a red card later. I need to get up to triple red, so burning red cards has some value in that perspective. Eventually I want to be able to Ichor Feast to gas back up in the mid game. We're going to do this plus Homeward Crown trade here. I'm pretty okay with that. Let's let them draw a card at end of turn. It gets almost there. We'll get to draw a card here with this, which is nice. Hey, Othaber, thank you for the 11 months. I appreciate the prime. Welcome back. I'm gonna slide this over.
Let's
Yes, yeah, this does give us a window. They're purple-orange. I guess Get an Angel's a card I have to worry about. If they get an Angel me here, I'm really sad. I don't know, they burned that earlier, though, right? They burned to Get an Angel earlier, so if they found their way back to that, that's fortunate. The deck tracker here keeps track of what your opponents has burned or cards that have gone back into their deck off the effects like God of Gamers. You can always look back and see what your opponent was burning to get ideas of what cards they're playing, which is great. Love, 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 love. You can also look through here and see what's remaining in your deck when you're thinking about your outs in a given situation, which is great as well. Yana here has Agile, which means she can attack past blockers. So in order for her to not be able to hit my opponent next turn, they have to put blockers on all 3 of these. That's pretty good. I guess I have corrode equipment here, which is great against it.
I'll take that.
Don't mind if I does. Am I corrode equipmenting this to kill it ASAP? If I corrode equipment this, it only gets to kill one of my things, right? Which is a real upside. I can't play perfect grade this turn, but I think that's okay. This is invulnerable, so giving it Blight's pretty important. Holding on to this has value too, because like a draw 3 is really good. So if I draw like a less good red card, I could burn the less good red card like an Ignition or a Sunken Acolyte to then cast my draw 3. So I'm expecting this to kill this. But then this is going to die to Blight next turn, which is great for us. Not quite ancestral. It costs 3 mana. And it's triple red. It's a good piece of card advantage though, for sure. So perfect grade's gonna get to come in and kill both of these, and then the Blight's gonna finish this off. Alright, well, now we'll burn that one for the red, because we have a different draw 3.
Pilot linked.
So deal 2 to minions that threaten this. And then deal 4 to another minion. And then I can slide this over here so we can make another snake. Slide this over and turn this will die. Okay. And even if they get an angel as their best possible draw at this point, we have this to gas back up with and we still have the snake pit going. So I think we're in a good spot. The high 5 and the double up. Double up with the high 5 and the mission for what's it called? Burning red and orange cards. I don't have any red and orange decks. Let's reroll that one. Kill 25 enemy minions. Look at that. Let's nail all of these at once, chat. Couple free mithril. What other game modes this game has? It has PvP limited. It has it has you versus a computer limited. It has 2v2. It has pod drafting. You could host your own custom tournaments. You could host your own custom cube draft with cards. There's a puzzle mode where you can create puzzles as well as play puzzles that are already created for you that teach you different things. These are kind of like what's the play style things. If you've ever played like checkmate in whatever moves, you can import puzzles from other people or send them out. There's a story mode. It's like basically everything. Mythgard is the most feature complete digital client that exists. No other card game has more features than Mythgard. Yeah, I hope they get the last 2 codes out ASAP. Whatever their delay is with that gets sorted here soon. Some puppers on the other side, so probably a misanthropian matchup. We're gonna go ahead and burn the old sapo here. It's a 7-drop, we don't need till later. If they're a canines deck, the Yarna virus is gonna be absurd. I think I just take my 2-for-1 on the Yarna virus here to stop them from building up. So this wants things next to it, so like Yarna virus is just like super rude against them. So this blights something, which means it gets -1/-1 at the start of the turn, and then when this dies, or at the end of the turn, it infects things next to it. So at the start of the turn, this is gonna die, and it's gonna make this sick now. It really is Hint. Just like the core gameplay loop that Mythgard has is quite excellent. It occupies a really unique space.
I'll take that.
I feel like Mythgard hits this really sweet spot where it reminds me a little bit of, I played a little bit of Duelist back in the day. Not a ton, but enough. And that game was like too board gamey. Like Mythgard hits like this really sweet balance between chess and a card game, I feel. Oh, is this the first minion I summoned? That's funny. I forgot that the first minion we summoned was going to get +1/+1. I probably should have played yahui. Yahui then with that in mind. They could give this a move action to hit me and make me discard a card. Yeah, that's what we're going to see here. So they can pay 2. They're going to take a card out of my hand here.
Here, boy. Get him.
Okay, so I'm going to slide this way. I'm going to put this here. And then I'm going to put brinebound here. And this covers all of the lanes they could attack me from. So this is going to die. This blocks these 3. This blocks these 3. This blocks here.
Covering fire!
Take care of him, please. I'm a mutant.
They actually already posted that they would be extending the date that they're valid through. FYI. Huh. So... this gives Blight 3 if the thing you're blighting has armor. So what if I burn this? I could burn this, make this a 4/4 and Blight 3 this, and then there's a good chance this levels. That means this is going to get to hit me and make me discard this. I think I'm into that, though. Oh, I guess this is a canine, so like if they have something that gives +1/+1, maybe this is bad. Maybe I should have just what's it called? Misanthropia to get rid of this. Oh, they're gonna slide over and trade. Yeah, this actually works out for me. This is fine. It took a lot of resources and it gave me 2 points towards my Coliseum of Strife, which is great. We're low on cards in hand, but if Coliseum can find us a draw 3 here, it'd be pretty good. All right, chat. We're leaning on the snakes. Misanthropia is not bad. Hopefully they extend to the board this turn and then Misanthropia gets to get them. Play some kind of big payoff here, huh? Perfect. This is great for us. And then I gotta decide, do I... Yes, links are allowed in chat. Relevant related links are. I think I just want a third serpent's den rather than burning this. Could have saved 2 damage by sliding the snake over. Oh, that's what hit me. I was like, I had a moment there. I was like, what hit me for damage there? It was this. Okay, so if I lose by 2, we deserve it. Good catch. Hey, Ayamud. Thanks for the raid. Hope you had a good stream today. I'm putting this here, and then this here. I'm gonna take 2 over here, but then this is gonna die. So they could bump like this into here and this into here and hit me for 2. But this survives unless these both. Oh, they're switching these around. Sure, is this swift? It is swift. Okay, so they can move that and still hit me. Fragile, sure. This can't take more than 2 inside of combat. It's a great pickup. All of our snakes come back, so this is gonna get this here, which is nice. And then this is great with our... This card is a big part of why I chose this power. So we get to go ahead and hit this here, which heals this back up, which is great. And we'll drop Believer over here. Definitely feels like we've stabilized at this point. We're at 10. Could be 2 higher if I had played slightly better, but hopefully that's not going to matter. Like we had Cobus to the other board. Yeah, we got 3 serpent dens going. Just popping up, snake after snake after snake. I love the lane enchantments in this game. They're such a great integration from the artwork and game mechanic. It's really elegant. Hey, Danny and Paco and Jedit, thanks for the follows. Hope you're having a good afternoon. So is this gonna eat this? If this doesn't eat this, this kills here, but now this is gonna get to kill here, right? And so something that's good from an interface perspective is this purple one means that this is only being kept alive by a bonus modifier. So if I drag this here, you can see that, wait, this should kill the thing next to it, right? This is being kept alive by. Oh, it's being kept alive by Forge. I'm done. I thought this made it bigger. No, this only gets itself bigger. I'm dumb. The lesson I was trying to teach is actually wrong. I didn't know what I was talking about. This only damages me if it's occupied, right? If this lane is occupied, the opposing lane is unoccupied. So I'm going to go ahead and slide this snake to the left here. So that way this is open. So that way it can give me another snake next turn. Hold on to it. Mutant for now. This power healing my units too, plus this is so tough for these creature decks to get through if they get behind on board like this. This is about to pop up into a 6/6 here. I guess my opponent's deck could theoretically have Thunderclap in it. Or what's it called? Magnuson? Clap and Magnuson potentially get them back in the game. Yeah, I feel like the most recent designs in Winter War, where the enchantments come with a small effect, but also create a unit when you play them, they really hit a good spot for their designs on those. Helps you be able to play enchantments in your decks and play to the board while not falling behind because you're not playing a card that just doesn't impact the board. Yeah, pippity popped right away, huh? Hand's pretty good. The curve in this deck is really, really nice. We've got a lot of nice cheap plays. Easy burn on the Strigoi here. And hand like this, where we have ignition and corrode equipment, is really good at helping a sunken acolyte hit. So if this hits my opponent, it transforms into something a little bit bigger that also makes them discard when it dies eventually. So if they play out a blocker over here, we'll probably kill our way through that. I guess we have brinebound believer too. It's actually kind of a tough choice whether you level this or get brinebound through. We'll see what they play out here. Wow. Okay, so I don't have to make a decision, so they just don't have it. So I just have to go ahead and smack you and transform this. That's great. Feel like, do I want misanthropia against their forge deck? I feel like I don't need that to start. I feel like I'd rather have this for pinpoint removal rather than a big sweeper, especially if I'm getting started kind of aggressive with these two. So this gets an energy whenever a minion dies, and eventually cashes that energy in for temporary mana.
Technically, I'm a tortoise.
Okay, so I think we're gonna run back that play that we did in the other game where we kept this alive. So let's go ahead and ignition this plus do this to it. And then this will die on their turn. So hopefully this can afford to pop back up. They are blue here, so I guess the bad play here is this sets me up to get blown out by Thunderclap a little bit. Hey, Mr. Gators, thanks for the follow. So they go, okay, that's not a blue resource. They could, okay, Forked Lightning, yep. It's not the worst. I think I'm going to do this here, and then rather than play this Serpent's Den, I'm actually going to go ahead and heal. Because I want to get this out of range to not die to Forked Lightning. I could have done this and this, but I think it's more valuable to make sure that I don't get blown out by Clap. Definitely hoping we've got 4 draw 3s in my deck, 3 of which are triple red though. Actually, one thing I'm not sure on this build is I've got 3 Ichor Feast and one Revelation. It could be right to play all Revelations. As opposed to, I could be right to honestly just play 5 draw 3s as well. I've only got 4 draw 3s. I do love drawing me some cards. It could be right to play. Could be right to play 2 and 2 with the 4. Instead of my 3-1 split, or it could be right to just play all 5 draw 3s in my colors. It's pretty good. It's going to generate them some crazy card advantage when they create their second unit for a turn. These plus these. If we draw a card that we haven't already burned next turn, we'll get to Harvester. I think the only thing we'd play other than Harvester that we could draw would be a draw 3. So pretty happy to burn the wings here. I'm going to slide the snake over to the right here, so that way next turn this can make another snake. Our path here is at 2 energy currently. You can see there's a little counter over here for a quick eye. This is 2. Sunrise, deal 1 damage to all players and minions. Good. It's pretty good against my snakes. This is like a little annoying here. Oh, that's actually great. Okay, sweet. So we'll kill this. And we can heal, and then we'll get to draw a card at end of turn because of our Coliseum. Yeah, we usually finish somewhere about 350 once we've been playing for an hour or 2, Mazer. That's my 3 to 500 people is usually what I have for variety stuff these days. Regardless of what we're doing. They played 2 things. Let's them draw a card from this artifact, which is real good. We play Lady in the Water. We do. We're kind of a snakes deck. We've got the thing that makes our snakes deadly too.
Use wisely.
So looking for any of our four draw 3s at this point. So we're like a little over 1 in 10 to draw one of those. 1 in 15, or 1 in 7, or 1 in 8 or so. 31 cards our deck. So I've got a couple of 7 drops in Lady and Sapo in the deck, and I've got a couple of 7s in Strigoi. So part of me wants to play both of these out, but another part of me knows I should be burning one of them. Opponents up on cards were a little bit ahead on board. Definitely feels like this could be anybody's game still.
Yes. Brilliant.
Yep. Here's your 7 drop we talked about. Yeah, matches like this make me think I should have the full 5 draw 3s in here. Scourge of Serpents has actually been pretty mediocre. I think this is a card I could probably turn into the second revelation. It's kind of an expensive late game card. I think harpy-one is good. I could see harpy-one being the replacement as well. Choose a minion without revealing it. The next time that minion is attacked, it gets 2-0 and Alpha Strike until sundown before combat. Chris. Playing in front of Maze would have given Sapo protection. Sure. Help, help, I'm being suppressed. remember when I said I wanted to turn this into another draw 3 chat? Shepherd Farm remembers. Alright, so this can kill here. We'll slide this over. Wait, why did this take 2? Oh, did they put this on there? Is that what happened? I think that's what happened. That's awkward. I guess that makes sense since it has defender. This card just like, yeah, we're gonna replace this with a draw 3 after this match. I guess we'll hold on to it for now because it might be useful later, but like, yeah. Is there a limit on how many artifacts you can have? Did the assembly line just boot one of their other artifacts out of there, or did I see that wrong? There's a limit on 5, okay. I think I'm just doing this and like burning this and gaining healing here. They almost assuredly gave this extra attack an alpha strike, right? There's no reason to attack this in here, and healing means this can't attack it and kill it on the backswing. Hey, Shiny Psyduck, thank you for the 20 months. Welcome back. Good afternoon. Running a little bit longer today than normal. It's our best draw here. Like, draw spell into, like, Crimson Pact to get rid of this, maybe? Honestly, Misanthropia is not terrible on this board either. They usually die before you get to the limit, Mazer Mouse. There actually aren't that many artifacts in that deck either. I think there's only 9 and you play duplicates. Have armor or regen? Is regen. What if I suicide this in and then play the Scourge of Serpents and get 4/2/2 Alpha Strikers? Is that silly? I feel like it's not. What if I attack in here, actually? Ooh, they gave that Alpha Strike. Okay, that gives me a window to just kill this now, right? Wait, what the fuck? Oh! Oh, I completely misunderstood this card. This is permanent. It lasts. Okay. Huh. My brain was thinking of what's the genie? The orange card? The orange card is only until end of turn. Trickster, yeah, Trickster is only until end of turn. Okay, so this is bad. I should have slid this to the right and then done this and had another Alpha Strike Serpent here. Now I'm gonna lose this card draw here, which sucks. I got another Ichor Feast at least. Our first draw 3 found the second draw 3.
Okay, on site.
Does Harpy turns Forgelings into 0/0? That's a good question. How does Harpy interact with Forgelings? Anybody know? Wait, what? It does? Are you kidding? How did I not know that? That's incredible. Alright, well there's 2 misanthropias in my deck, right? So we're gonna draw one of those next turn. Yeah, it kills Holocons too? Okay. Alright, so we got 2 misanthropias and 24 cards. Swing and a miss. Alright, so we're dead. I think we've died. I guess I can do this here. I can do this here. We're taking 5. Last time I was in a spot like this against this deck, they just play Horn and killed me. This is Blast, which means putting this next to it was bad. So I should have put this here then. I feel like we were pretty unlucky this game. I made a small mistake, but like it took us forever to find our first draw 3, and now like we haven't had a misanthropy in the top half of our deck. Let's change that shitty snake card into another draw 3. Just finding more cards is all you want to do in these games that go long. And the snake card's not good enough against aggro. The aggro decks in this game seem powerful enough that you don't want to let them get to a point where they go wide. Yeah, I think burning it at the time was correct, but like I said, I think the big deciding factor of that game was we had a couple of turns, like 2 or 3 turns in the middle, where I just like didn't have a draw 3, and I was just sitting there like activating my hero power, my deck power to heal, which is like really not where I wanted to be in life. All right, so I think we're burning Ichor Feast here to start. I guess I got to decide which of these yellow cards do I not want. I'm going to burn Misanthropia. So, it's scary burning Misanthropia here against the Souls deck, but I've got a lot of cheap removal to start, and I think I want to be able to curve Yahui into Serpent's Den here if I draw another yellow card next turn. Like, I probably don't want to cast this, so I'd like to burn it almost assuredly for my first red, but I want to try and set up yellow for 2. Oh, huh. Okay, so that changes my opinion on what we're doing here. So this play, along with the fact that they burn Poxbringer, says to me that they're probably more mid-rangey.
Technically, I'm a tortoise.
And makes me glad I didn't burn this on one. Yarna should be an all-star here. I'll burn the serpent instead if they're more mid-rangey, so we get Yarna going next turn. You said that's cards named 4 different ways this stream alone. It is, you know, you gotta keep them on their toes, okay? What's going on, Skunky Penguins? Good afternoon.
Bam!
Bam! Alright, play Thief of Sanity. If they have corrode equipment here, they can kill this before it hits them. They could give her armor and then give her Blight 3. But if they do that, that means they don't have it for one of these, which is nice. I think I'm actually burning the wings here to play the oak, because I would like to play Ichor Feast here if this is an attrition game.
Let's take a look.
Okay, that changes that dynamic. Let's start by smacking you with
I'll
this.
take that.
I would love your harvester. Okay, and this means I don't want them to be able to take my cards. Actually, I think maybe I stick to the plan and like, I'm gonna burn this. Let's burn this. I'm gonna definitely want to trade wings for their Yarna here. Oh no! Their Yarna, it has Lurker. No, it doesn't have Lurker. This has Defender. Crap. Well, somewhere in my heart of hearts, I knew that. Defender always catches me. Lurker I usually remember. Defender catches me because Defender is not a keyword on the card that I actually care about. It's a keyword on the card that I usually don't care about and want to go around. You enter the codes. Yeah, if you're on iOS, you can't enter codes on iOS. Okay, yeah. They got my ignition to kill this. Yeah, that's a pretty big punt on my part. Wait, do I have to attack this? Does this get around my agile? It does not. Okay.
I'll take that.
Never return.
Worth.
Bam!
Bam! Basically just like gave them the play. Which is fine. Hey, dying slowly. Thank you for the 20 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Redrawing this ignition here is actually pretty bad beats. There's definitely a matchup where this card's not worth much. The fact that we burned it and then it came back right away feels bad. This is the biggest part of the resource variance in Mythgard for sure, is how quickly you redraw your burned cards and whether or not it's good or bad if you redraw them quickly. Instances like this where you're like, I don't want this card, so I burned it. Then you like draw it back right away, and your first few draws feel the worst for sure. Not as bad as Magic by any means, where you're just like, I don't get to play, but still not great. So this, when it dies, divinations 3 and then draws a card. So we're gonna trade these here, and hopefully we're gonna find some of our draw 3s. Which we have 5 of in our deck now, so glad we have 5 of them now. Seems like, again, in these mid-range matchups, you're always just like, as you get into the late game here, you're just like, all right, I need to draw 3. All right, I need to draw 3. This is a draw 3 I can play. I'm missing a red for this, so my life total doesn't matter here, especially with me gaining 4, but I can't play that red one yet, actually. Yeah, cards go into the top half of the deck, but oh, they go anywhere but the top? I thought it was top half. Do you have a source on someone from Rhino saying what happens when you burn cards, min-maxer? Because I've heard both. I've heard top half, and I've heard explicitly not the top. Or two fact, do you have...
Dangerous sands.
So, remember, my power here heals my units too. So we'll get my draw 3 in. We'll burn. Actually, I think this is worse than this. We'll go ahead and do this, and then we'll hit my power here to mend this, and then we'll kill their thing. I think it explains it in the game rules in client. I bet you're right that it does explain it in client. Does this remove damage from a card? Or does it just remove abilities? This doesn't heal on its top thing, right? It does remove damage?
Don't worry, it isn't catching.
Peak card gamer is asking how something works and then getting 2 different responses in chat. So this card is super powerful, good grinding tool. Whenever a non-angel minion they control dies here, it goes back to their hand and its cost gets reduced by 2. It sets it to the base version of the card, which is undamaged. Transform a minion into the original card. Okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense. The original card is undamaged. I would assume based on that, looking at the wording that here, that it heals it.
A world of poisons.
Something that might actually be a real problem here for us is I wonder if our deck actually has enough closing power to kill through the opponents and play through all of their interaction. Oh you know what's actually kind of interesting in a weird way here? We're gonna be stuck at 9 resources this game because the Seal of Exile burned it burned a resource without removing a threshold. Quote from inside the game guide: burnt cards are shuffled into a random spot in the deck but can't be the top card. Okay, so the top half thing is incorrect then. Sweet. Thanks for the source, folks.
It isn't catching.
This card is able to remove blight from itself, which is sweet here.
Fortune favors us.
Okay, so what I want to do here, I think I want to put this here. That I want to empower it. I think I want to put another snake den here, so I don't just get hit here. Go ahead and heal. So both of these are yarnavirus right now. They could slide this over to blight this, but that's fine. This will get to trade into here, which is nice. What are my threats left in my deck? I've got Lady in the Water and Sapo. Oh, I've got my Strigoi still. Strigoi should give us plenty of closing power. Oh, I can reset the egg as well. That's a good catch. Probably starting on our draw 3 next turn, I imagine.
Vulcan on site.
Oh, they got the yarnavirus here. So I think I do this and then ignition here. And then I just pass. And so these are gonna die. And then this will go down to a 2/3, and then I can use it to reset itself back to not die next turn, which is great. Well, I guess they can just dump infinite mana into this, pumping it up, right? Can you use the empower? No, empowers only once. Can they only use each of these abilities one time or no? Empowers once. Okay.
Fortune favors us.
The fact that I sealed and can only have 9 resources here has felt relevant here too. I have a lot of cards in my hand that I really wish I could burn up to a 10th resource, but you can't burn another card when you have 10 mana gems. I actually think that that's really unintuitive. One of the rules things I'm not a huge fan of that Mythgard does is it always felt really unintuitive to me that what's the word that I'm searching for? That you can't that the colorless cards burn for a resource always felt strange to me. And that burning them for a resource gets around. Gets around the max resource limit. Do I want to give this Slayer? So that way if they want to attack in with this, their thing dies? I think that's the play. These both die, but that comes back. Oh, and they got one back from their souls thing as well. They are down to 8 here, which seems relevant.
A world of poisons.
Okay, yeah, that's really good. Lets them trade into here.
At last.
So, can someone explain to me how the timing at the beginning of the round works out where this thing dies to blight and then this gets created and immediately dies to blight? Like how does the beginning of the turn sequence structure work that's something that can occur? So I don't think I've fully wrapped my brain. Blight is always done last. and it resolves like left to right each lane individually. Is what's happening.
Belief is truth.
Well, there's not really a reason to play these out. I guess I could play one here and play one here. So they have to choose which one they're killing with the blight. How many draw threes do I have left? It's a 2. Crimson Pact and a... Sorry, not Crimson Pact. No, I have 3. I have 2 Ichor Feast and 1 Revelation. Opponent is down to 7. They're what's it called? Both Journey of Souls in this. It's possible that I want... There's the 6 mana triple red card that steals a lane enchantment. I don't currently have a way to interact with lane enchantments in my 75, and that could definitely be wrong. Or my 40. Whatever number of cards we have index in this game.
Dangerous sands.
Is agile? Oh, it comes back as agile from this, right? Okay, there's a Strigoi. It took us a long time, but we found one.
Twisting, always.
What happened to me?
Well, all of my snakes dying to blight will be good for the serpentine empress over here. I have 2 crimson packs in my deck still. We haven't drawn any crimson packs. We're at 15 cards left, so there's a good chance that this finds crimson pact. We really took us a while to find our bombs this game, huh? We like just found Strigoi here, and we haven't found Lady, Sapo, or the other ones. Like all of our big ones were at the very bottom.
Catching.
They need to put some blockers down over here, right? Because these two. This is gonna get -2/-2, but these 2 snakes are gonna die, which is gonna make this bigger.
Don't worry, it isn't catching.
Yeah, I need to slide that down. This is not quite dead yet. This is only Blight 2. We could get bit by the fact that I can't have another resource here next turn, because I kind of wish I could draw Misanthropia. If I find Crimson Pact, it's lethal, right? So do I just go for Crimson Pact here? This is lethal. This has armor. So I don't think so. They're at 5. How is this lethal? I'm sure because of the armor, right? You're wrong, sorry. Okay. I think we take our 3 shots of Crimson Pact for lethal. Man, just like the worst luck. You could have slid minions over, played wings, targeted Serapis, -3 attack twice. No. No? No. There was not lethal on this board. This is armor 1 from their thing. So I could not attack through here. I could have put them to 1. Wings dies, comes back, and Sarah's... How does Wings come back? Wings dies, comes back? How? Are you thinking I have their heaven? Oh, I had this activation. I don't know what this card's name is. Alright, we miss lethal. Got it. We were unlucky. I have no idea what this card is called. You keep saying Sephiris. I'm like, what the fuck is that card that you're talking about? So I could have done this. Okay, so both of these move over, we slide it. I think we're dead at this point. I think we're just too far behind from all of their stuff. We got really unlucky this game, but I appreciate you pointing out that I did in fact miss it. Like both Crimson Pacts to the bottom 10 cards of my deck, like no misanthropia. All of it feels real bad, man. All of our 7-drops were buried at the bottom of the deck. Can't find my second misanthropia either. Also buried in the bottom. Yeah, so I miss lethal with wings plus this activation here. It's good to point out. The opponent would have been at +1 though. So the opponent would have been at +1, but I could have used wings to sack the snake to make this bigger. Honestly, the resource system in Mythgard was a little frustrating there. A big part of why I lost that game too, past the fact that we were super unlucky, was the fact that the seal meant that I couldn't play a 10th resource is a huge feel bad. I dislike how the gems... I dislike how the gems limit you from being able to burn more cards, and the fact that the colorless robot things let you get above 10 resources. Like those two things don't feel like they should work that way. I feel like I should be allowed to get back to 10 when I burn like that. I feel like you shouldn't be allowed to burn past 10. It feels like a weird... It feels very unintuitive. No, a lot of Mythgard's gameplay and interactions are pretty intuitive, and I feel like that stands out to me as something that's just like, this is awkward. Yeah, it took me both my... Sure, like that's a corner case, but the colorless things letting you burn above 10 is something that happens constantly. It's really weird to me that the colorless things are things that you can burn to begin with. I agree that the seal not letting me get back to 10 is kind of whatever. The artifacts letting you burn above 10 I think is a much bigger deal. It's weird to me that those cards aren't broken by default, but like all the random ephemeral stuff you generate usually is.
Let's do this.
Actually, that's probably the articulation of the thing that gets me about that. It's weird to me that it feels arbitrary which ephemeral things you can burn and which ones you can't. I feel like it should probably just be you can't burn ephemeral things. Is likely what it should be. Well, Forge of Creation is definitely not bad as a path anymore. Okay, are there cards they could play that kill this in blue-red if I make this a 5/5? I don't think there are, right? Oh, they could play Crimson Pact? They could play Crimson Pact. They'd go to 12 if they do that, though. I think I'm okay with that. They could bounce it, sure. Bounce would be bad for me. They could have the bounce Falc.
Hit the road.
Sure. And that's another thing too, like again, like we're in a this deck out of my 3 is the least aggressive, and this deck will be much better when I can like look at my opponent's deck list and be like, okay, this is what I'm playing around. Yeah, I feel like the Forge of the Creation decks are actually just like probably some of the best decks in the game right now, Min-Maxer. Do you think that's accurate, or are there other things that I haven't seen that are extra good?
Technically, I'm a tortoise.
Oh, I never remember this stupid path. You're correct that this blocking the 3/3 is better if they were going to enter. From a game mechanics perspective, I like Turn of the Seasons a lot. From a player perspective, I hate this path and its infinite bookkeeping. I think I'd rather eat this than this. No, I get to attack here if I eat this one. I can heal this back up to a 2/3 potentially. Yeah, I mean, I know I can tell you with closing my eyes. I can tell you, like, with my eyes closed, what all of the modes on this does. But, like, having to keep... There's so many things to keep track of in Mythgard in terms of, like, what are you doing every turn, that, like, having to keep... I think I'm doing this and trying to hit a 2-drop to block here. This could be wrong. If we brick, we just die. This is exactly what we wanted. Someone asking about Runeterra, I have a video posted about what Runeterra's current issues are, in my opinion.
Technically, I'm a tortoise.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I know what all of the things do on this card, but, like, keeping track of... Sorry, to complete my thought here, there's so many things that go on inside of the average game of Mythgard that keeping track of what season they're currently in and what's coming up next on top of everything else is just so much. Like every time I manage to remember what this card is doing, I feel like a total wizard. I'm like, yes, I didn't fuck up. I didn't fuck up the Turn of the Seasons. All right, so this actually works out pretty well. So we get to Misanthropia here. We do this. I get to go ahead and drop some snakes on the plane, and then I've got Strigoi here to play afterwards. Because aggro is not a big part of the metagame. Well...
show.
What? Okay, so I guess here's my question as a response to that then. What is a part, what about those decks do you think makes them not competitive against aggro? Because they have a lot of great tools. I'm just gonna put this in the middle, I think. It'd be nice for the new pass. There's a tracker telling you when the path-generated item is coming. I think there is actually. If you look on the right side, there's little counters. I'm pretty sure the new paths have the counters here. Ooh, this is nice. Okay, so I can eat this. And then I hit here and gain 5. And then I can play this, eat this, hit here, gain 2. The counter is the energy for when they draw a card. Nothing tells you about the item. Oh! Oh yeah, you're right. You're totally right. Those things count 2 things. So I'm gonna take a 10 ball here.
Yeah, catch. Hey, oil. Yeah.
Oh, the upper left does say the current turn count, doesn't it? Get my snakes going here. Am I burning this? I think I'm burning this and gaining some life. I think we're probably done here with our lady in the water. This deck's been good. I'm pretty confident I have my 3-deck lineup picked out for their tournament next weekend. This, the tricolor tokens, and the blue-purple fragile all fit together.
See you in Valhalla.
Crimson Pact is lethal. Survey says. What's it called is also lethal. I think I just burned this and play this Dorko.
Belief is truth.
Is truth. You play a bunch, Rune. What would you say are the best decks that people play right now? Or I guess another question is, I guess without tournaments really, we probably don't really have super objective measurements of like best, do we? I would imagine is probably the case. They're at 5. I don't know if this finds me anything useful. Think we're good here? To remind you, please be online for every hour. We are almost done.
Did I do good?
Did I do good? I'm out of red. Great. Doesn't really matter.
What happens to me?
We had a good magic set this morning, so I started Mythgard a little bit late. I usually try and do at least 2 hours of Mythgard when we go. This deck's also been good. I'm pretty happy with I feel like it speaks volumes to how much the range of decks that Mythgard has in their format that I really like. That like in Runeterra, I've definitely struggled to like find enough decks for their pick ban formats that I enjoy. But for Mythgard, I found 3 pretty easily. It's the Magic deck highlight from today. We played blue-white Gandalf control in Standard this morning. Honestly, all 3 of the Magic decks slapped today. We played mono blue tempo in Historic. We played Jeskai mutate combo and blue-white control in Standard. They were all very reasonable. You're sold on yellow-green safe house and blue rainbow enchantments, either blue-red or blue-o as decks that you think they're best. Okay, that's good to know. Oh, I was like, I was thinking to myself after one of those matches, I thought I wanted to change a card in the deck. Do I want to fit in? What's this nuts? The 6 drop. Is this probably? Is the bastard probably the best card we can play to interact with enchantments in my regions? Or is there a different card I should be playing? I guess I have to consider my curve when I fit this in. Honestly, sunken acolyte's been a little whatever. Wonder if that's my cut. One of the awkward things is like if I acolyte on 1, I can't yahui on 2. What do we think of sunken acolyte versus ignition? I could roll up my copies of ignition to 4. I guess I could also just like coward split these 2 too if I want to fit it in. Because I don't think I want to get rid of any of my top end. Maybe I give up a harvester actually. If I give up harvester, my curve stays the same. For the 4 life gain on this is nice though. Do I think I have too much top end? This is 13 cards that cost 5+. It might just be a harvester. He's got a pretty okay stat line himself. Not as good, but fine. Cutting a 1-drop for a 6-drop seems kind of greedy. I guess I have plenty of life gain. I've got Strigoi, I've got Serapis, I've got Oak as little bits of life gain, and Prota. This card gains life in like huge chunks. More mutant. So, I'm using 2 copies of mutant and 2 copies of corrode equipment in one of my other decks in my lineup. So I'm capped on copies of these that I can play in here. Yarna virus was very good at multiple points today too. I feel like if I want to go like more mid-rangey controlling, I could cut these and I could go up ignitions and I could get the 4th Yarna virus in here. This card's really good against aggro. It makes their board spacing super awkward. Sunken Acolyte's nice, though, when I want to try and be the beatdown. I think I'm going to try and give Sunken Acolyte a little bit more of a chance. I could see this being correct to turn into just, like, more pieces of spot removal, basically, as opposed to a threat. It's like, the units are kind of a strange take in Mythgard, because, like, similar to Hearthstone, your units can be removal. So, like, this is an ignition in a pinch in a lot of situations. Like, obviously, they're susceptible to getting blown out by certain things because of that. Our curve looks pretty nice. 6 and 6 appear at the top. A couple of 4s. I like it. All right, at any rate, that's going to wrap on Mythgard for me for the week. Tomorrow, Magic's releasing a new historic anthology, so I'm going to be playing a bunch of that. I'm going to be playing Ratchet and Clank in the morning as well. And then next weekend, on the 20th, 10 days from now, is going to be Mythgard's Open Qualifier Tournament. So I think I'm probably going to do 3 Mythgard afternoons next week. Plus, I plan to stream the Open Qualifier on a delay, so we'll be doing a little bit extra Mythgard stuff with their tournament coming up that I'm going to play in. But like I said, I think I'm pretty happy with this. I'm going to play my lineup's going to be this red, yellow sack, Triforge tokens, and blue, purple fragile. These things all line up nicely. Got a little bit of yellow overlap between these two, but I don't think I'm really giving up much to split between these. All right. Peace, folks. See if there's anybody else's